wild animals, and wild places. They're more than a picture. They're inspiration, excitement, and adventure. Patrolling and protecting these natural resources is a first-class band of peace officers. These are the Wardens, dedicated to the preservation of our great outdoors.
So you were the only one here when the barn started on fire?
Yeah.
Did you think about calling the fire department to put it down?
It's a difficult situation when you have a bear in an urban area up a tree. You can't get them until you drug them.
Let's go and bring the other hand back. There you go. When you're under arrest, I gotta put cuffs on you, it's mandated.
A Michigan conservation officer responds to a wide variety of calls and situations and must possess in-depth knowledge regarding many topics. No two workdays are ever alike, and how an officer's day shakes out may differ tremendously from what a CO originally had in mind. In Michigan's District 4, Officer Mike Wells is on patrol a week before turkey season opens in his county. Initially, he thought he'd be looking into a spin cast feeder that is possibly being used illegally to lure turkeys. But he'll begin his shift by investigating a couple of issues with higher priority.
We're headed to right now a nuisance bear complaint. I got a call from an elderly female this morning, stated that her bird feeders got raided last night. She says that there's sizable tracks on the scene, and she said there was 2 or 3 feeders that got hit, and had mentioned something about possible damage to one of the outbuildings from the bears.
Here.
Yep.
Sasquatch.
That's a bear.
Yeah, at first I thought, then I saw the claw marks.
You can see the claw marks,
Yep.
you can see the pad, the upper pads.
What's
This is
that? Is that a big one?
yeah, it looks pretty sizable.
See the paw prints?
Yep.
And then he tore that feeder
But
off.
he didn't damage any of the windows, though. He tore the feeders
See,
off.
he could pull a window out, couldn't he? Yes,
if he
no?
want, oh yeah, yeah. I
see,
mean, he could do a lot more
in the
damage
summer,
than that.
pull
Did you
one
find
right
the bird feeders? Were they down laying around?
Yeah.
Okay.
This one he's just opened up.
Okay.
I'm surprised. Oops. Can I throw seed out for them yet?
You can feed birds, yeah. But the problem with it is right now is you got a bear here that's looking for that stuff.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, he's going to come back looking.
He's going to be back here. He's going to be back here. You know, so there's certain things you can do, and I've heard different things that people have done. I've talked to a few people that what they do is at night they'll put a radio right next to the window and open up the window and play it low, just to change the environment here because it makes them nervous.
And Deb said if I would hear one to lock the car and the horn beat, would that do anything?
Well, it might. I mean, yeah, what you've got to do, you've got to change the environment here to make him uncomfortable, so the bear doesn't come back, or so that, you know, you can go to like one of the local stores and get a handheld air horn, and blast out the window if you see him. You know, open up the window, beat on a pot and pan, get out of here, bear, yell at him and stuff like that. You know, definitely stay inside when you're doing it. Bear was actually raiding bird feeders. It's a common situation in the springtime. These bears are coming out of hibernation. They're looking for easy food sources. Let's face facts, a bird feeder is very easy. All they got to do is just reach up, grab the bird feeder, knock it down, and they get a belly full of seed real quick. Even on these situations, I like to fill out a report because if this bear, you know, if this is the only place he hits, then that's okay. But if he starts working all the houses around her and he starts becoming a nuisance, you know, if I document all these reports, we're going to have it on file showing, hey, we got a bear that's a little bit of a problem over here. So that way wildlife will look at that and say, well, wait a minute, we need to get over and do something about this because this bear's getting a little more brazen. We got to get this bear moving and get him out of the area here, you know. They tear the bottom of it off?
Yep.
As he was wrapping up his investigation of the property that had been visited by a bear, CO Wells received a call to look into another matter.
Okay, we'll be en route that way. We just received a complaint from Central. We're being requested by one of the local fire departments to respond to a scene. Information received right now is that they have some type of structure on fire. Gentlemen, how are we doing today? I know we could be doing better. I know that. I'm Mike Wells from the DNR. Your somehow associated or related to the owner of the farms?
Yeah.
Okay, and then this, your employee?
Yeah, one of the
Okay,
employees,
okay. Okay, what we're gonna do, you guys, well, for one thing, the fire department is not gonna send anybody out here to put this down because it's kind of contained.
Yeah.
You know, so you guys have the responsibility to stay out here and make sure it stays contained. Did they explain that to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you come with me? We're gonna go back to the truck. I'm gonna have a chat with you for a little bit, okay? When you built this fire, this small fire, were you the only one here?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Were you the one that actually lit that smaller fire?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you were the only one here when the barn started on fire?
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
the bigger barn started burning?
Yeah.
Did you think about calling the fire department to put it down? To help?
I don't know, no. I don't call, no. I don't understand what he say for this part.
All of Michigan's bear hunting units are located in the northern two-thirds of the state. The home range of the state's roughly 12,000 bears has slowly been creeping south, and occasionally that has led to sightings of bears in urban communities.
My roommate woke me up at like 10 in the morning. She was like, you need to come downstairs, there's a bear outside. And I thought she had like a typo, like autocorrect. I didn't believe her. And I came outside, we were standing in the corner, like in the rain, barefoot in my pajamas. And all of a sudden I see a bear in the tree. So that was really weird.
Started out as a regular Thursday morning, and then all of a sudden we got the call that we had a bear. One of the officers called and said, yeah, there's a bear downtown Grand Rapids and need some help.
The bear in Grand Rapids drew the attention of many onlookers, but it is very rare for a black bear to attack humans. People must still exercise caution around them and keep bird feeders, garbage, and other potential bear food out of their yards if they know a black bear is in their area.
It's a difficult situation when you have a bear in an urban area up a tree, because they're up a tree. You can't get them until you drug them. So you drug them in the tree.
Bears are born in the mother's den and stay with their mother for about a year, including a second denning, and then are driven out of the den by their mother. When this happens, the bear must find its own home range. This sequence of events is typically the reason that a bear ends up in an urban area.
We knew that he was at a height that even if he fell, he would be fine. There was no structures below him, no concrete or sidewalks or anything. It was grass, mowed grass. You know, he started to be lowered down and slid out of the rope. We didn't have a good harness on him, and he slid out of the rope and fell to the bottom, but he was fine.
After getting the darted bear out of the tree, the DNR drove him to a remote location away from humans and safely released him back into the wild.
Bears are part of Michigan's wildlife landscape, and especially up north, but even more and more coming down south. So people are going to have to, educate themselves and maybe get used to that, because it's probably going to keep happening. We have this healthy bear population up north, and they're going to continue to come down south, whether it's 5 times a year or once every couple of years. We're going to have to deal with it.
As summer turns to fall in Michigan, it's open season on several species of fish and game. Consequently, Michigan conservation officers have a wide variety of potential patrols to focus on. In Michigan's District 7, Officer Ivan Perez is starting his shift on the first day of archery deer season by heading to the Grand River and Grand Rapids to observe salmon fishermen.
These salmon are in like corkwood, they're so close together and lined up, and they're trying to shoot this fish ladder that takes them up over this small dam in the Grand River and move upstream to spawn. And guys, they'll hook them in the back, they'll hook them in the tail. Our laws state that in order to keep a fish, it needs to be basically hooked in the mouth. If it's not hooked in the mouth, it needs to be immediately released. We're going to have a couple undercover officers down on the Grand River fishing alongside other fishermen. Myself and another uniformed officer will be on either side of the river.
Green coat, and the other one has a tan vest with a black hat.
To start his patrol, Officer Perez sets up a distance away from the river and uses binoculars to observe the anglers in and along the river below him. After watching from a distance for a while and not observing any sure violations, Officer Perez heads to the river to check the fish and licenses of some anglers.
Hi guys, how you doing? Conservation officer, having any luck?
Yeah, I do a catfish.
Oh nice, you know how long it is?
I don't know.
You know?
Yeah.
You know how long they're supposed to be?
I have no idea.
They're supposed to be 12 inches, but that looks pretty close. Let me take this out and find out. He's right at 12 inches. Look at that.
Oh.
See that?
It's supposed to be bigger than 12 inches?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So can I keep it?
So he's good.
Okay.
Okay, because if he was bad, you'd be getting a ticket. So make sure you know how big. So if you catch any catfish and they're smaller than that,
Okay.
make sure you throw them back.
Okay.
Okay.
I see.
I like the way he's teaching you. You know, here you are and he's way over there, like, hey, oh yeah, you're casting it wrong.
Well, I tried going here last week and it was so strong that it was going
Oh, you thought
I'm
you're.
like, I'll stay in the water
Gotcha.
here.
That's a nice looking brown, man. Ooh, look at that. Very cool. Good looking fish.
As C.O. Perez continues to work his way along the shore of the Grand River, he meets up with Officer Justin Olberg, who has encountered a fisherman who doesn't have his fishing license in his possession. So C.O. Olberg radios in to make sure the angler's license is valid.
Through the check, it turned out he had what we call a friend of the court warrant out of Ottawa County. Right now we're just trying to verify that it's good to go and see if they want him. Sometimes they just do an advise and release. But other times they want them, and since it's out of my county and we're headed back that way, we can probably give them a ride if they want them. So we'll just wait and see what happens.
Officer Perez received word from Ottawa County that they did want him to bring in the fisherman who was behind on his child support payments.
I got to put cuffs on you. It's mandated, okay? Well, I mean, when you're under arrest, we got to, yeah. Let's go and bring the other hand back. There you go.
Yeah, I give him whatever I can.
This is one of our main tools right here, which is the computer. You go 10, 15 years ago and they didn't have that. Everything was handwritten out on your dailies, but now the computer has become a very important part of what our job entails.
Caleb Sturdivant Rosley is a high school senior who would like to be a Michigan conservation officer. CO Ben Shively offered Caleb an opportunity to spend some time with him, see some of the equipment Officer Shively uses, and ask him some questions about his career and his path to becoming one of Michigan's 250 conservation officers.
To get into this job, all you need to have is a high school diploma. But when I applied, there were 21 vacancies and there were 2,500 applicants. So what you're looking for is something to be able to set yourself apart from the other individuals that are applying. So for me, my volunteer conservation officer time that I had in, also my time working with the state as a Parks and Recreation officer, and then also my college. I went on, got a bachelor's degree, and then also went on and I got an associate's degree in criminal justice.
I always wanted to work with a DNR. I didn't necessarily want to work inside, like be in a computer all day. I've always wanted to be outside working.
This is my patrol boat that I'll use on most of my inland lakes here in Oceana County. Side-by-sides, very important for us on search and rescues and also for ORV enforcement. Obviously it's the off-season for snowmobiles right now, but this is where we keep some of them for our area. That's a very important tool for us during the winter. And we do have a lot of streams and rivers in the county. A lot of those are shallow, not enough that you could get a boat down with a motor or anything, so that's why we have our canoes and kayaks in here. 90% of our user group is law-abiding and have no issues, but it's that other 5 to 10% that ruin it for everybody else.
Two of Caleb's uncles, as well as both of his parents, worked for the DNR or at public parks. He has fond memories of enjoying the outdoors and would like to carry on the family tradition.
I loved going up at Silver Lake and hanging out at the campground in the dunes and being out on the water all day when I was little, going camping and stuff like that with Mom and Dad. That was always fun for me. I always wanted to work for the DNR after that. I loved being outside and being able to hunt and fish and trap.
When you wake up in the morning and you don't reach over and hit that snooze button and say, I don't want to go into work today, or you don't pick up the phone and call your boss and say, yeah, I'm going to take a sick day or something like that, I don't have that when I wake up.
I learned that working that deer decoy is a lot harder than it looks.
As fully commissioned peace officers, Michigan conservation officers enforce laws related to DNR, as well as general criminal law. In Michigan's District 7, Officer Ivan Perez has handcuffed a fisherman who is behind on child support payments.
When was the last time you were in jail for anything?
He's taking him to the county jail where the warrant is from, Ottawa County, the same county Officer Perez patrols.
Oh man, that's a long time, dude.
I went to prison and got out.
Yeah, go ahead and step up, be careful. You good? I know it ain't the most comfortable ride, but it'll be over soon enough, okay?
Yep, that's okay.
I'll be taking him back to my county, to the lockup. All right, just watch your step. Go ahead and come on out. It's a long drop, so be careful, all right?
Yep.
All right. He had mentioned he was homeless and he was having some kidney problems, so I think he was kind of glad that he was gonna, you know, the weather hasn't been great. He mentioned friend of the court hearings are only on Fridays, and so that means today's Saturday, he'll be locked up until Friday, so he's gonna be somewhere warm, get 3 square meals a day, and probably some medication for some illness that he had or that he mentioned. So, hey, you know, it's probably a good trade-off for him.
While on his way to the jail, Officer Perez noticed a fire alongside of the road emitting black smoke. So now he heads for that location to investigate the fire.
I see some wire in there. Was that from a tire?
Yeah, it was from one tire.
Okay, all right. You know that's illegal, right? Do you know that?
No, I did not know.
Yeah, that's illegal. You can't burn anything other than, how many tires did you have in there? At least 2 or 3?
Well, there's a big tire.
It was just one big one?
I think I had one like that one.
Okay. Do you have a driver's license on you, sir? Do you live here?
Yes, I do.
Okay. This is a violation of the Solid Waste Act. You know, he's basically burning scrap tires, you know, to get rid of them rather than to pay to get rid of them. So I'm going to document this.
Officer Mike Wells is responding to a call about a fire. Upon arriving at the scene, he talks to 2 men, one who is related to the landowner and another who works for them.
The barn was basically fully engulfed and was almost gone by the time we got there. We spoke with 2 subjects on the scene, and one of them did give an admission that he was cleaning up around the barn, some of the boards that had fallen off the barn and everything else, and that he put them in a pile and he lit them on fire. Now, we had an extremely windy day that day. A very bad choice on this subject to actually start a fire believing he could control it, simply due to the fact that with that much wind, it's very hard to keep a fire under control. Okay, now this is a copy of the citation. What I did was I wrote you a single charge of what we call allow fire to escape. What that means is you started a fire, but you didn't take the time to do the necessary things to keep it contained and it got away from you, okay? Down below here, you'll see I wrote something else in. I circled WARN, which stands for warning, and that's called unlawful disposal of solid waste. That's the burning of construction material. Anything that cannot be legally destroyed by burning would be an unlawful disposal of solid waste, because this stuff should be sold, like you said, for use, or it's got to be knocked down and taken to the dump. It can't be burned unless you get a permit from your local fire department. Okay, sometimes they will allow that, but it doesn't happen too often. The only thing you can really burn is what we call natural material, brush, stumps, grass clippings, things like that. Anything else has to go to the dump. The reason for that is because it can contaminate our environment. If you're burning a board that may have paint on it, that may have been stained, that had some type of treatment like womanized, when you burn that board, that material that was placed on or in that board burns, and it creates a toxic situation. What's the intention here as far as you just guys gonna sit here all night and wait for it to burn down? Or are you gonna think you're gonna try to get some equipment in here to try to get it put down?
Well, we'll let it burn down for quite a while and then probably try and use that loader to dump dirt on it.
Okay, all right.
Meanwhile, in District 7, Officer Ivan Perez is taking pictures to document the fire he's come across where a homeowner is burning a tire in his yard.
It looks like you've had previous fires, though. I mean, how many tires have you burned on this pile?
I just threw one on today. My son had a fire on here a little while ago.
But it looks like there were tires being burnt. Were you guys trying to get rid of them? Is that the deal?
I have no idea what he did.
We have very strict laws concerning, especially tires, because they release a lot of toxins into the air, okay? I'm going to tell you what you need to do to take care of the ticket. Go ahead and let this burn down. I'll be with you in just a minute, okay, sir? I'll write these tickets all day long because not only does it release, you know, a bunch of toxins into the air, we have very strict laws. You know, Michigan's a beautiful place and we want to keep it that way. Because even with what's left over, he still has to dispose of in a manner, you know, that's appropriate. So, you know, that way we're not stuck with the aftermath of what he's done.
247 there, unsure.
And where it still becomes a problem somewhere farther down the line.
Wild animals and wild places, they're more than a picture. They're inspiration, excitement, and adventure. Patrolling and protecting these natural resources is a first-class band of peace officers. These are the Wardens, dedicated to the preservation of our great outdoors. This week on Wardens.
Guys, there's quite a bit wrong here.
He came in alone. We remotely triggered the net to fall.
State Conservation Officer, you want to step out for a moment?
The state of Michigan offers numerous outdoor recreational activities, including hunts for elk, bear, waterfowl, and upland birds, as well as many kinds of fish that anglers can catch. However, the most popular species for sportsmen in the state to pursue is whitetail deer.
Our local stores and our local gas stations out in the 15 miles outside of Cadillac, if they did not have the hunting influx of revenue, they are more than likely not going to be in business in the spring. Between bow season and rifle season, it's a huge, huge economic impact.
Are the deer hanging?
No, there's one hanging, the buck.
Okay. One of the bucks?
Yeah.
Did you get any does?
No.
In Michigan's District 3, conservation officers Bill Webster and Jonathan Skilba head into a barn to check out some deer that may have been taken over bait.
That's this one.
Oh yeah. Whose was this?
That one was got on a farm permit.
Okay. Crop damage?
Yeah.
Okay. You see that one? That must have been earlier in the year, eh?
Yeah.
It's been stinking. And then this was the spike.
Yeah.
And then this is the 5.
Yeah. That's
okay.
The one they got last night.
Oh, hello.
This is my brother.
Oh, you were at the church.
Yes, I was. Doing the talk?
Yeah.
Yep. That was me. You shot a heck of a buck on a crop damage permit, eh?
Yeah.
What month was he shot in?
October. No, it wasn't crop damage. Disease control.
Oh, it's DCP?
Disease control.
Yeah, well, some people just,
they forget.
Lump them in. They don't know the difference.
Okay.
I know you do.
Yep.
And they don't pay to turn the head in because that was into September.
On a DCP tag.
Huh?
Did you send in the DCP tag and stuff?
Yeah,
okay.
I got sent in for it.
The state of Michigan offers disease control permits under certain circumstances, but hunters cannot keep the antlers. The entire head must be turned in for testing.
On the DCP tags, you have to turn in everything.
Well, we didn't
everything.
turn the heads in because nobody's at the office.
That's what the box is for.
Yeah, but they say you put them in the box. That's where you put them in the box that time of year.
They pick them up.
Shows up and picks them up.
They make a run.
The whole point of the DCP is to
test
for disease, right?
Right,
yeah.
and that's how they test for the
getting the
disease.
permit.
And that's what they test, is the head. You know? Do you still have your permits?
No.
Do you have any of them left?
The tags went to...
Who did the processing?
Who did the processing, yeah.
Okay. And then what about the tag that was supposed to be sent to Lansing?
It got sent in.
It got sent in?
Yeah.
Okay, but the one with the head?
There's only 2 of them.
Right.
The one
So the one with the body? You like the one with the body?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good morning. Good, how you doing?
On opening day of firearm deer season, Conservation Officer Mark Ledman is on patrol in District 1.
Seen anything yet? Nothing, okay. You know what? Okay, thank you for telling me. Got a concealed pistol license? Okay. You know why we're out here?
Blind?
Yeah, and what else? The trail.
Trail.
The ORV trail. Those always get the forester's attention or our attention when they're on state land. And yeah, the blind and the blind on the next hill over. And is there anybody in the other next blind?
That one down there?
Yeah.
That one's been there for probably...
It's been there a long, long time.
Yeah, that's not ours.
Not yours, okay. And this one's been here how long?
I would say probably a couple of years, honestly.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Blinds on state land can't be put out before September 1st, and they must be clearly marked with your name and address. At the end of the hunting season, you must take them down. This hunter was also driving his ORV on an illegal trail.
I mean, I guess you can just go through the woods or what? You just
the only time you can is to get a dead deer, a dead and down deer. That's the only time on state land you can take and just go off-road.
Yeah.
Other than that, it has to be on a road capable of travel with a conventional four-wheeled, two-wheel drive vehicle. So, like I tell everybody, if a Ford Ranger pickup truck will make it down that road in two-wheel drive, then your ORV can go down it. If it's anything narrower, bumpy, or mud, stumps, old, just because it's an old logging operation, the skidder drove in there, but that doesn't make it a road or a trail.
Right.
He's ticketed for the illegal blind, which is a court-ordered $280 fine.
To be legal, got to be placed out here starting in September, removed at the end of firearm deer season or whatever season you use it in.
He's allowed to continue hunting from the blind, but must remove it at the end of the season. CO Ledman gives him a warning for the ORV use.
The ORV we won't deal with now, but just knowing the ORV trail in there, yeah, you can, like I said, if you shoot a deer though, you can go in and get your deer. So that's the one time you can take it in there.
Michigan is one of 23 states that have documented cases of CWD, or chronic wasting disease. It's a significant area of concern for both hunters and wildlife agencies. Michigan's DNR is teaming up with PhD students at Michigan State University in an effort to learn more about the travel patterns of the state's deer herd and how that may relate to the transmission of CWD and other cervid diseases.
The information we're going to get from this project is really critical to how we might structure hunting seasons. So again, information about how deer are moving across the landscape. Intuitively, as they move, they're going to spread disease. If we can structure seasons or other methods to contain deer in particular areas, that may be important to us. If we find that certain habitat types are facilitating movements, there might be options there in terms of managing habitat to slow the spread of the disease.
To track travel patterns of deer in south central Michigan, PhD student Jonathan Trudeau and his team catch deer in nets and outfit them with GPS collars.
We had a 40-foot by 40-foot drop net set up, and our drop nets are run by electromagnets. We put a little bit of corn around the center, which entices the deer to come in, and then we sit in a ground blind as quiet as we can, and then we just wait. We didn't have to wait very long. Probably a 9-month-old male that came in. He came in alone. We remotely triggered the net to fall. The deer got entangled, and one of our trained staff ran out, field crew ran out, and physically restrained the animal. We physically restrained the animal for one, our safety, and for the deer's safety. And then we're able to administer a mild sedative.
After sedating the deer, the team blindfolds him and lubricates his eyes so they don't dry out. gives him supplemental oxygen, and measure his vitals. They equip him with a GPS collar and ear tags.
This is a 1-year-old male, and it's a location every 2.5 hours on this, is what we're seeing. This is from March 10th to May 1st. Its home range is about 1.5 miles. We're very fortunate that down here in south central Michigan, that CWD is considered to be an emergent phase. So that means that it's not established, that it's not at high prevalence rates yet.
This is year 1 of 3 for collaring the deer, and the GPS collar batteries last 2 years, so the research project is still in the early stages.
We're interested particularly in any information that we could use about the ecology of deer in these areas where we've had CWD positive animals. Primarily be interested in that information on how we could potentially slow the spread of disease, and ultimately, it would be nice to remove it from the landscape if possible. We also use that information to structure hunting regulations that, again, would be used to hopefully assist us in managing CWD.
In Michigan's District 3, Conservation Officer Bill Webster is in the middle of an investigation during the state's opening week of firearm deer season. A plane used to patrol for bait in illegal areas spotted some on this piece of land.
With that bait that we found out there, you couldn't see it from the road. We had no complaints about that bait. That was a free fly the pilot was doing. He actually located that on his own. And you know, from the air, and without having that pilot up in the air and looking at that stuff, we would have never found it.
Officer Webster found 2 deer taken that weren't tagged, and he found the head of a deer with the disease control permit. Those heads are supposed to be turned in for testing.
You can shoot bucks, okay, but the whole animal head has to be turned in, antlers and all. Because what they don't want is people going out and monopolizing in September and August on the big bucks and shooting them all.
On top of that, Officer Webster found bait at multiple spots on the property.
There was 50 gallons of bait at each site. You could have easily filled up a 50-gallon drum with bait. So they were pretty heavy. Guys, there's quite a bit wrong here. You know, I mean, the licenses have to go on the deer immediately. With your deer that you have there, okay, your license, I'm pretty sure he probably explained it to you. It's not, you don't have a license to take that deer, okay?
Yeah.
So we're gonna end up taking that deer from you, okay? We have to, because you don't have a license for it.
Okay. So what do you want done out there now?
With the bait?
Yeah.
It's all gotta get picked up.
Okay.
All of it. Picked up, cleaned up, and you can't hunt those locations until the bait's gone.
Okay.
Okay? I mean, you can hunt other areas of the property, but it can't be visible to the bait. You get what I'm saying? So, if you want to go sit underneath a tree out there, there's plenty of room without baiting.
I'll just go pick it up and haul it up.
Okay. Well, can you give me a hand? I'll pull my truck over there. Give me a hand loading up the rest of the stuff over there. That 5-point that's left. Oh, excuse me.
After loading up the confiscated deer, Officers Webster and Skilba discuss how to handle this situation.
They both put out bait. They put the whole bait on the property. You know, and then they got that DCP deer, that big 10-point that they should have turned in the head on, which they didn't because it's a big buck. And then you got the APR violation, so. What do you think?
I can write for the APR violation and place bait.
Yeah. And then I'm going to do the DCP one and bait. And we'll let the rest of this stuff slide.
The landowner was ticketed for baiting and violating the disease control permit rules. He was fined $772. His brother was ticketed for baiting and violating the antler point restriction. He was fined $595. The third hunter, who had taken the 5-point buck, was also ticketed for violating the antler point restriction. He was fined $215. The 5-point was confiscated, as was the processed meat from the spike.
I know you guys are going to get that stuff cleaned up.
Yeah.
You're honest guys, so we won't have this problem again. Right?
This year.
Come on. Oh, you're killing me, man. Don't do that.
Back in District 1. CO Mark Ledman is trying to check on more illegal blinds, but the road he wants to go down is blocked.
This might be the road we want. It looks like he's blocked the road, which is illegal. And he has. He's blocked the road, so you're not allowed to block roads on state land, and he parked right in the middle of it.
He's got about a half-mile walk back to where he thinks the blind is. But the truck isn't the only obstacle this hunter has put in the road.
Yeah, somebody's trying to block the road by putting these couple of logs across it and keeping other hunters from coming in here.
There are signs of deer all along the walk, which explains why this hunter would want to keep other hunters out of the area.
See the deer? Definitely rubbed up there. And here's a scrape on the ground right up here. So the deer, buck has been in here. A pretty good spot to be hunting.
About 10 minutes after leaving his patrol truck, CO Ledman finds the blind.
Hello. How you doing? State Conservation Officer. You want to step out for a moment?
In 2016, more than 1.3 million deer licenses were sold in the state of Michigan, and the state had the second most successfully harvested deer, trailing only Texas. There are 8 million acres of public hunting land in the state, but sometimes competition to get and hold a hunting location can lead people to break the rules. In Michigan's District 1, Conservation Officer Mark Ledman is trying to check on an illegal blind on state land.
This might be the road we want, and looks like he's blocked the road, which is illegal.
But a hunter parked his truck in the middle of the road and placed some downed trees across the road blocking access. After a short walk, Officer Ledman finds the hunter in his blind.
State Conservation Officer, you want to step out for a moment? Grab your license with you. Is that your truck out front?
Yes.
Okay.
Am I legal?
No, you're not. Okay. Well, why do you think you're not legal?
The first time I've seen you in my blind.
First time you've seen me in your blind?
Well, coming through here, I've had guys come through before. So.
Okay. Why do you think you're illegal?
I just paranoid.
Okay.
I try to do everything as up to the as I can.
Okay. Why are you throwing all the logs across the road on the way back here?
Oh, because guys would drive down and spin their tires and make a bunch of noise.
Spin their tires. During deer season?
Yep.
And have you ever called and reported that?
No.
So then makes me think it maybe didn't happen.
Okay.
You've got your truck parked in the middle of the road, which is illegal.
Okay. And that's
You're not allowed to block, impede
all right.
any traffic. You're far enough off the road where even if traffic was to drive down that road, they have the right to drive down all those roads. Well, your blind is illegal. How long has this been out here?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
I'm guessing. You're supposed to be allowed the first part of November, correct?
No, the
Or no,
date's the date's different than that.
Okay.
But when was it really put out here?
I
without
don't know.
Without exaggerating or trying to
I
change
can't
the
say.
story.
So
I
if
mean,
I went,
was this?
if I went
Did
to,
you use this last year?
Yep.
And it's still out here from last
Oh
year?
no, absolutely not.
No?
Absolutely not. 100% no way.
Okay.
100% no way.
He takes a closer look at the blind and believes the hunter took it in after last year. In Michigan, on public land, blinds cannot be left out all year and must be marked with the owner's name and address.
Okay, yeah, it looks like it actually is kind of fresh. The blind looks so old, but I don't have this one marked. There's a bunch out here that I do have marked, but this isn't the one. You didn't have your orange on when we come up. You do need to keep it on.
In the blind?
Even in the blind. Problem is you shoot an 8-pointer and you wound it. And it takes off running and it's kicking and you shot the both front legs. You're going to chase after it immediately. You don't think to put your orange back on. You're simply out in the woods. Pretty soon you're 2 hills over and there's a hunter over there and he sees you moving without orange. They shoot at movement nowadays. Some people have.
C.O. Ledman has him remove the trees blocking the road and move his truck. He gives the hunter a warning on not having orange on in the blind and issues him a citation for blocking a road on state land, which is a civil infraction and a court-ordered $125 fine. But since his blind and bait are legal, he's able to go back and continue his hunt.
Questions?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good luck. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, good luck to you.